When I drove back from San Francisco after attending the Republican National Convention, actually we took an indirect way, went down to Arizona, visited some students from Clark College who lived there, and then made our way up Route 66, famous Highway 66. I'll get my kicks on Route 66, all the way back up through Kansas and into Iowa and back to Dubuque. And then I still had a number of weeks to go before graduate school would start, and I needed work, and I looked around, and there was a playground supervising job at a place called Peter Cooper Playground. Nobody wanted to take the job because Peter Cooper was located in the toughest, most rundown part of Dubuque. There wasn't really a playground. It was a strip of grass along the side of a street with a couple of swings and that were kind of broken down. And it was a really, really unattractive place, unattractive job, but it was available. And I thought, well, I played sports, I have an interest, I can do this. So I signed up and showed up, and gosh, there were only 5 or 6 kids that would come on any day. And but we'd play softball, or I'd pitch and let them practice, and we had some other games. But it was summer, and softball was a significant part of the Dubuque playground experience. And at the end of the summer, there was a tournament, and all the playgrounds would field a team under age 12 and play each other until a final championship game would be held. So playgrounds and most of the rest of Dubuque all had lots of kids, and they easily put a team together, but we struggled to have 9 kids. So I get the kids who are interested and say, go out, we got to find a few more. Finally, we have 9 kids, and we got a team, and it's kind of a ragtag bunch. They're pretty poor. We don't have any money for shirts or hats or anything like many of the other playgrounds had, but we got them together, and we're practicing, and I was hitting infield practice, and I thought, well, we got 9 to show up. But one of our better players was named Ginger Mikhalakis, 11-year-old girl who this long blonde hair, and she had her growth spurt, so she was bigger than most of the boys, and she was a good player and could hit the ball really hard and really far. And so she batted cleanup on the team. And the big day came, and we're going up to play against Bryant Playground, which was kind of up near where I lived. And a lot of kids came there who were sons of doctors and lawyers, and they're pretty well off. So we show up at Bryant School, at Bryant Playground, and we're there, and they've all got matching hats, they've got t-shirts, they're, looking, several coaches, hitting infield practice, outfield practice, and we come, and scruffy kids, and piled into my car, and one other parent drove, and we come up, and we're taking our infield practice, and there's Ginger at first base and catching the ball, and so a couple of the coaches, the men coaches for Bryant, come over to see me. They're quite a bit older than me, and they say, you've got a girl there, girls can't play. And I said, where's that written down? Where does it say that? They said, well, it's not written down any place, but everybody knows. Girls can't play, there's boys. And I said, yeah, there's no rule against it. She's on our team, she's our first baseman, and she's playing. Well, they said, then we're not going to play. We're not going to take the field if you insist on this. And I said, that's fine. We're happy to take a forfeit and move on. So there were a lot of consternation on the part of these coaches. And we're going to protest. I said, please protest. I'm happy to sign anything to acknowledge that we have a girl who plays first base. And so they couldn't do anything else except play the game. And we play, and Ginger plays, and she gets lots of hits, and other kids play well, and we win. And winning was such an incredible experience for these kids who came from the bottom of society and who had never really had won at anything. And here we've come up and we beat this team. We go on to the next game, we win again, and then another, win again. And now we're going to be in the championship game of the Dubuque Playground Tournament. So this is unheard of in the area of Dubuque where Peter Cooper was located. It's called the Flats. It was right next to Dubuque Pack. The smell from the packing plant was terrible. Nobody would want to live there. So it was hard-boiled, tough neighborhood, and the parents all show up for this game. And they haven't had this kind of experience before, and they're cheering for their kids. We play the game. It's very, very close. There's such media interest now in Ginger. And the Telegraph Herald shows up and takes photos of her batting and practicing and throwing, and they write a big story about Ginger Mikhalakis. And, you know, the game is really close, but we get to the end and we come up a run short. And we finish in second. And the kids are walking off. They're crying. They're crying because it mattered to them. And their parents are cheering for them. So it was such a wonderful experience for the kids, for their families. And it was 1964, long before any of the federal legislation about girls and women in sports. But Ginger played because she was good. And I thought it was the right thing to do. You know, the Mikhalakis family has a coffee shop in Dubuque, and when I've gone back there, I went over and said, "Oh, is Ginger still around?" They said, "Oh, yes, yes." Yeah. I said, "You know, how could I get her? I'd like to say hello." And then I thought about it, and they said, "She'll be coming in later, you can come back." And I thought about it, and then I didn't go back, because now Ginger would be, you know, in her 60s or so. And I always want to remember her as that 11-year-old, that flowing blonde hair, tomboy, hitting the ball harder than any boy, and playing because she was good and deserved to play.